Well, hey everybody and welcome. I'm so excited to be here with everybody today. This is your virtual financial team prosperity Wednesday meeting, and today is June 10th, 2020, and I'm so very excited to be here with my husband, Mike Amos. This is Alana Amos, and I appreciate everybody being here, as well as all the people that take the time to listen to the recording. So I've got just a few things that I want to go over today, and I know Mike's got a great presentation for us. I also did want to make a note that if you all missed David Chase's training yesterday on the company meeting, it was a really good one. So if you missed it, definitely go back and watch it. It was a lot of good information. Anyways, let me go ahead and grab my presentation. And again, I just have a few brief announcements that I wanted to go over. Something that I've been using this week, which I thought was pretty cool, was scheduling my sent messages, especially if I want to do like a reminder for something, or if it's like an odd time. There's a little arrow right next to send on your Gmail, and you can actually schedule a send. So it'll pull up a little calendar, and you can schedule a date and a time for it to go out. And then you'll see it kind of on the left as scheduled, and you can go in there and edit it and change it. So that's kind of a fun little tip. I've been doing a lot of intro calls, a lot of help calls, and just recently I'm having more and more people that have like little agencies that are reaching out and are, interested in adding a virtual division, interested in going virtual and, getting more tools. So these are some of the things that Mike helped me kind of put together, a few talking points. And just like always, we're always just trying to figure out what people are doing now and if we can possibly help them. So in this example, what are they doing now to expand their agency? What are they doing now for lead generation? If they're spending money on leads, what's their cost of acquisition per client, their ROI, what kind of digital plan do they have? What kind of web assets, what are they doing? What are the consequences? In the next 3 to 5 years of not having a digital plan and getting left behind? Are they using social media, digital marketing? How is that going? These are all great just talking points that you could have with people that are ready, run a big agency or run a big business, because you're going to run into those people. If they're not doing some of those things on social media, are they feeling like they're missing out and they're not moving, along with the trends? What kind of message, do they have to their clients? How many people are they expecting to reach? Because our How Many Works campaign, we're gonna reach 100 million, just this year from the book release of the media tour. So it's a straight correlation of how there's so many different ways that like an agency could directly benefit from what we're doing right now in our platform. And honestly, they can just open a virtual division and expand their business almost at no cost. I mean, honestly, like if agency owners know this, it's a no-brainer. So, adding services, additional income, monetizing the book of business they've built their entire lives. These are little things that I throw out there, and a lot of the time it's enough to get, the videos in front of people, and the more people you can touch that can look at your information and you have a effective follow-up system, that's how you're going to get good at this business. So another thing that's come up, all week long, all the time is non-med expansion of living benefits. If somebody's under 55 right now, they can get up to $1 million without having blood and urine. They could still, have a call with medical questions. They could still pull medical reports. But most of these are going through as non-med very quickly, as quickly as in a few days, if they're healthy. But money provides options, right? So I love this little chart about traditional versus living benefits. When your client gets money, they can use it for anything. Pay their mortgage, pay the gap in their health insurance, not have to go bankrupt over medical bills, protect their assets, their income, make sure that their, life isn't disrupted more than it already is with the health issue. It's going to protect their other investments. They don't have to pull from their cash value and IUL or whatever they have set up. They don't have to, liquidate positions in the market to pull money out. They don't have to pull out of their kids' college funds or out of their savings. We're seeing this more and more used as a key man policy because the key man or the key woman doesn't have to die to get replaced. You know, they could get sick. Same thing for mortgage protection. No one has to die to have the house paid off, you know. So living benefits, honestly, also if somebody doesn't have anything, or if they have a traditional term that they could upgrade, we're just helping so many people. And you would think that people that just got insurance a few months ago have heard about this, but no. I mean, this week we're upgrading 2 plans that have been written in the last year by, you know, by other companies on our platform that just don't offer living benefits, you know, obviously by other agents. So anyways, this is another question that's come up more and more. You know, people want to see how much is it going to take to get $1 million by age 67. Now, this chart is going to show 9% annual rate of return, so that's kind of a high rate, but you could see that somebody in their 20s, yeah, they could put away like $113 a month. Now, once you get up to 25, now you can see they need to put in $178 a month. In their 30s, you know, closer to 300. In their mid-30s, closer to the mid-400s. So you could see that, you know, and once in a while you'll get these people that, you know, they have a 15-year-old and they want to put in for 3 years, they want to put in $100 and then they want to have $200,000 to send them to school, you know. So, I mean, it has to make sense on the time aspect of the accumulation, and that's why we always talk to people about getting these things set up early, letting, you know, their money compound over a certain amount of time. You could see that somebody in their 50s now has to put in over $2,000 a month at a 9% rate of return to get to that $1 million by age 67. You know, so I thought this was a pretty powerful chart, especially when talking to young people. They can really see the value of setting themselves up early so they could have, you know, a comfortable later on. So there's been a lot of positive changes made by Crump. This is another thing that I wanted to talk about. They have now like changed up some of their buttons that they had before, where before we used to have to go to Tools, Insure Now. Now you can just go straight to the Transaction Center. It looks like this. You can start a new e-app. You can upload documents or a paper app. And then to get to your started ones, status, My e-apps. So we're always improving, making things more easy to use. You know, we know that Pacific Life just came out with a new e-app. I know David talked about that yesterday, and Mike posted that information in the group. So as we go, you know, things are going to get easier and easier for the financial professionals. And for the inviters, that means that turnaround time is going to be faster as well. So all good things. And I just feel like things are just getting better and better. So I'm a strong believer that, you know, while every other business is scrambling, they're trying to learn how to be virtual, we're executing, we're exploding, and this is our time. So definitely take advantage of it. Lean on us. Let us know how we can help you. And give me just 1 second to grab Mike. I'm so very excited to hear his presentation. Thanks.
It's already June, you guys, and I hope that the disruption in this year to date, right after the new year, hasn't been so distracting for you guys. I know it has been for the overall marketplace, and we're going to talk about some ways that you can preemptively overcome some of those challenges, as well as some other stuff that will hopefully help you guys as you're building your business. We've seen this before over the last number of weeks. I've shown it a few times. I really believe this is a nice parallel to what we're doing. She's in actual education. We're in financial education. A kindergarten class of 88,000 kids is absolutely amazing. In a traditional model, that is a 0% chance that's going to ever happen. Same thing here. Even if you were territorial restricted and you could go out an hour in every direction, to build an office of 2, 3, 4, 5,000 people is impossible. In the virtual world, we're here because we have exponential growth opportunities. We have a viral business nature. We've seen what digital has done to other industries, and we're applying that to this particular industry, and we are just seeing examples all around outside of our industry that shows us we're in the right place at the right time with the right vision, You just have to go out and find the right partners that share that vision and, just as importantly, are willing to work for it. Got to have commitment here, and that's the defining point, I think, in a conversation that you really need to extract from their side, because you're making a commitment. You're investing time, energy, resources into that potential partner. You got to make sure they're committed on their side to meet you halfway, and you guys form that mutually beneficial relationship. If you're just trying anything in life, but especially trying to build a business from the ground floor, and you're not committed to seeing this through, there's no promise that you'll reach the end. And quite frankly, there's very little chance that you'll reach the end. Got to be committed. Big part of what we do. These are exciting times. And if somebody else on the other side doesn't see that, isn't willing to commit, you need to move on to the next person, possibly pivot into a client conversation. But overall, we all have problems. We can all come up with excuses. We can all come up with reasons to justify our past, present, future failures. We can always come up with ways to deflect responsibility, say it's not my fault. But at the end of the day, those are the people that we're not looking for. We're looking for people who have problems, who have issues, but are able to overcome that and, quite frankly, be in a position of positivity, because that's going to come out. Everyone has problems. If you lead with your problems, you're going to attract other people who have problems and want to lead with them. Those people usually don't possess the grit and the mindset to make something like this happen. So understand, it's very important that you understand how to read people as quickly as possible. Same thing on the client side, guys. Everybody wants the end result. Are they committed to the process of seeing it through to get there? Because if you are, we can help you. If you're not, then whatever comes down the road, if Social Security's there, if you haven't saved any, whatever happens when you're at that age, you'll just deal with it then. We talk about you can't plan for the future in the future. Same thing, just reverts back to what we always say. We can help people, but they got to be willing to help themselves. That goes for both sides of the business. We're a solutions-based company. Yes, we're education, employed entrepreneur, how money works, but as the three roles here, you got to look for ways that you go out and you offer solutions to perceived or actual problems. That's what leads to buying decisions. We don't want to go into being a salesperson, definitely not an insurance agent. That's a tired, old way to approach a marketplace, and it's going to get shut down and denied very quickly. So you have to come out with your personal brand that we always talk about. Your personal brand has to have ways to communicate with people and offer solutions to perceived or actual problems like we talked about. One of the ways that you have to offer solutions as a manager is learn to embrace some of the stuff that we have. This right here, and there is a Sprint Track Sheet overview and tutorial video in the YouTube channel. You need to understand that this has to be accompanied with the packet that goes to the home office to approve you for Senior Vice President. Up to that point, your SVP signs off on everything. Once you actually get an SVP contract, it takes multiple signatures. So understand this has to accompany that, but understand also from a managerial tool, this is very important going forward. I use one, Alana uses one, we use one combined for our base shop to see what's happening over 90-day, quarter periods of time. And then we also expect our offices to do the same so that when we're all getting together, if you have a portfolio of 6, 7, 8 digital agencies that are first generation to you, those are ones that you're going to be working with for a period of time until you really just disappear in the shadows after you've done your work. Up until that time, one of the greatest ways to get a bird's eye view of what's happening and what needs to happen that may not be happening and make sure that something does not fall through the cracks is this sheet. So if I'm working with somebody, hey, let's see your sheet. If we're working with multiple offices, let's see what's going on. So yes, this is needed for SVP, but it's also needed going forward. And I've said this before, if you are unwilling to adopt some of these managerial things that are helping us, the people that are willing to do it and make sure that it's an effective part of their business are going to pass the others up. So understand what we're talking about. We don't want to make you guys do stuff just to say, hey, just do this, busy work. This is actually a very good tool for you. Also remember, first mover advantage means a lot. And when you get into the marketplace with a new product, new service, or a new way of doing business, you do have a period of time where you can establish yourself. And that's why it's so important when we talk about, hey, we've been doing this for a number of years. We're not trying to throw it together in the past 90 days. It makes a difference. Now, that first mover advantage, that let's call it the lead in the race that you have, can evaporate, and you can end up losing if you're not willing to continue to innovate, develop, work hard, and stretch that lead out. You can see as a company level what we've been doing lately to try to make that happen, also as a team level as well. So we're trying to do everything we can to make sure that that lead that we established in the mid-2010s continues in the first half of this decade. You've just got to understand how the partnerships come together, not only for yourself, but if people ask you, what are all these companies coming together to form? Understand what each does and understand the value and the reason that we have that particular person or company as a partner. And then finally, once you understand that, it is a clear path to exponential growth, very large distribution. At that point, when it's all put together, the infrastructure, and it's time for you to supply what you need to, which is the human element, that's when you've got to lose your excuses and start to find those results. And that can be accomplished through a lot of different ways and a lot of different tools that we have. WFG. So when somebody talks about WFG, I really like the new CEO of WFG. He's doing a lot of things that I thought that needed to be done, which is great. So that will start reflecting in their brand. But WFG is a major advantage that we have. And if somebody else doesn't see that, that's okay. But at the end of the day, you need to understand for yourself and to explain it to other people what that IMO platform means. Well, first of all, it means it can absorb growth. It can pay out $1 billion. It can pay out an expected $4 billion. That gives you the opportunity to grow. If we had a little small IMO, we're going to bring a digital model to that, guess what? It's going to get chaotic. It's going to get messy, and there's going to be a lot of just craziness and not a lot of orderly growth. Well, here are the platform advantages. It's huge. It can absorb, and everything that I hate to do as an entrepreneur, all that admin stuff, they've got departments that take care of it. So compliance, commission, marketing, IT, legal, the ability to pay out twice a week, 9 pay cycles per month. Compliance department is a big deal. As we go forward, there'll be more regulation in the industry, and you need a big compliance department on your side to make sure that what you build over time doesn't get taken away from you by other people's mistakes. We're on top of that. They're on top of that. We're good to go. You guys should feel good about the platform relationship with WFGA Transamerica because I love visuals, and we've used this before. This is what the rest of the industry looks like. Now, it's probably even smaller than that, but I didn't want to make it too small. And this is the WFG IMO Transamerica platform. It is huge compared to the other ones. It's not even close. So, yes, WFG has some issues with branding in the marketplace because of the amount of people that come through there. But ultimately, they have huge advantages on the admin side, and we are thankful to have them as a partner. We just updated our the banner or the headline photo in the Facebook group page. I want to remind you guys that this is the future. You guys are here at a good time, and you need to challenge yourselves as we challenge you. Just remember, $2.3 million paid daily. It's almost $100,000 an hour continuously around that clock. So when you're sitting there maybe arguing with somebody about politics or religion on Facebook or something else that's maybe a waste of time, just remember, $100,000 was paid. $100,000 was paid. $100,000 was paid. You've got to carve out. You have advantages on the digital side, how to get into that platform and carve out a piece of that for yourself that continues to grow. The Facebook group is invite only. It's closed. It's just for our partners. So if you invite somebody and they don't get approved, that's why. If they're not a partner, they're not going to get approved. Also on that note, if you are a partner, you should be in here. It doesn't go out into your personal feed. Everything's locked into here. Whatever you say, whatever you comment, you're good inside the group. Ask questions. Get to know your other teammates and partners. See what's working, what's not working. Get relevant information, and just be able to see and congratulate people that are making it happen. 12-week year started Monday, and this is another 12-week year that will go a quarter, 12 weeks. And if you are with us for this process, congratulations. It is an awesome process. It's not easy, and sometimes it's not much fun realizing that you have personality defects or that you're wasting time or that you're not doing the right things. But it's important to have that as part of the growth process. Remember, it tells you what's important. So what are my goals? And then what are the most important things or tactics that are going to drive me to those goals? Because what we do a lot of times is fill up a list on the opposite side. It's the stuff that may be fun to do. It's the comfortable stuff, but it's not the stuff that's really going to drive us to our goals. We have a to-do list, and we have a not to-do list. And you're going to find that the most uncomfortable things that you probably hate to do should be put at the top of the list every day, and the other stuff underneath that, if you get around to it, great. But if you don't, you've done the most important stuff. So concentrate on actions that will be a high leverage for you. And in the WHAM groups, we do a WHAM group Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific after the company meeting. And that's basically just reflect. It measures the results. It measures your execution up to date, any leading success metrics, sets intentions for the coming week, reconnect with your vision, and also you're around like-minded people who are doing this business maybe for a few years now that you can possibly learn from or get some information you can take from that meeting and immediately apply it to your business, and could be revenue income. If you're with us for this 12-week group year, then you need to understand that part of the process is you've got to keep up with the data. So I sent you guys links out. It's view only. You select file. You make a copy. You'll be left with your own that you can fill out. If this is your first time around or you've got questions, just bring it to the group on Saturday. Remember, setting goals in the future, all it allows us to do is do what we all love to do, which is procrastinate. At least most of us love to do it. It allows you to postpone something for a future result and reset that time again and again and again. What we're trying to do either with the 12-week year or just making sure mentally we realize that we've got to compress the time frames. Make it happen now, not tomorrow. Tomorrow is just an excuse. It's a reason to plan, prepare, and procrastinate. One thing's going to win out every single day. You, failure, something's going to get up. We have to work on ourselves. I try, Alana tries. I know the people that I talk to on a regular basis who have been here for a while are all trying. It's an ongoing thing. You're not going to fix yourself overnight. And if you're going to be somebody that's not willing to do self-inventory, self-reflection, and learn about what's going wrong, you think you're doing everything right, that's a personality defect in itself. You've got to learn. You've got to learn from others who are in a position to help you out as well. Daily activity sheet, we went through this at the beginning of the year. We kind of updated it. We have a lot of growth happening with the team right now, and we've got far less activity sheet participants. Not mandatory, but I do invite you guys to take part in this because it's a leading indicator of what's going to happen for you or what's not going to happen for you. All of this stuff is important. It starts pipelines of activity. They're going to streamline down into outcomes. Some of those outcomes include revenue, income, partner, client growth. And then we added the out-of-pocket term. I'm talking to Joe Smith. There's absolutely not much at all I can do for Joe based on the conversation. I'm going to end that conversation because I know there's no more future communication plan. But, hey, Joe, great conversation. I appreciate the connection, whatever it is. If you don't mind me asking one last question, do you pay out-of-pocket for term? The reason is it doesn't matter. If he says yes, it's possible upgrade if he qualifies and fits in that window. But if he says no, guess what? It also allows us to continue that conversation. Did you know about living benefits? So we're asking the question to try to get the yes, those easy pick-off upgrades every month. And you should, if you're using this effectively, find 3 to 5 easy sales. However, on the vast majority of people that might say no, now you've got an en route to possible new insurance needs. So understand the simple things that we've implemented over the last 24, 36 months. It's important because before that and during that time, we were doing things wrong, and you learn from doing things both right and wrong, and we're trying to share with you guys what's working for us now. Just a little quick review. If you're using some of this stuff, remember GMath is an excellent tool for some of those, mass email kind of things. Do not load raw data in the WealthWave system because they have specific metrics and targets they're looking for. And if you get a high bounce rate and all of this stuff starts coming back, you're going to shut the account down. They're going to have a conversation with you. WealthWave should be for created leads from one way or another. Up before that, if you're using raw data, GMath is a great way to get some people, that are clicking, who are viewing, and then try to change those from raw lead into an actual lead that goes in your WealthWave system. Remember, if you're sending out Gmails and you're sending them out with GMath campaigns, create a Gmail signature where they can get more information about you, what you do. It's an advertising piece. Don't neglect it. Sniply. If you're using Sniply, remember that's most articles can be snipped, and you're just going back through there. You're finding the article and adding a banner or a call to action on this. We just brought in a great marketer a few weeks ago, and we plan on learning a lot from him. He's very talented. But one of the things he was saying is a lot of times the Snipply article, you just want to find the most trafficked article. For example, if your call to action is something, financial related, and your article is something financial related, well, the click rate on that article is going to be relatively low, probably extremely low in some cases. But if you get an article about, hey, is there a new stimulus coming up or something that is heavily trafficked, take that article that you think will get the most reads and then put a very vague call to action on there that's going to try to drive traffic to your landing page or to your sites. There's Facebook tools out there. We're going to get into some more of those in the coming next couple of weeks. Helper, there's a few different automation tools for LinkedIn. What you want to make sure that you do is find one that you like, you understand, and works best for you. If you're wanting our help, then we use Helper. Google Alerts, I think for a lot of what WealthWave offers you guys, you have a lot of information there. We set up Google Alerts for two reasons. Number one, if I want to learn about a topic, I get that stuff delivered to my inbox every day. On the other hand, if I want to recycle articles, we were using that. But you have pre-written blogs, you have great kits, campaigns, libraries in the WealthWave system. So this holds not as much value as it used to, but still, it has value. Lightshot, those screen capture tools. If you're going through a webinar or you're trying to capture a picture to turn it into a meme, it's a great way that you can right there draw a box around what you want, save it, copy it, do a lot of different things to it. So I highly recommend that. And then track your email. So the WealthWave system has a tracker, but you should also have, and this is a free tracker for your Gmail. As you're sending stuff out, you want to know that it wasn't lost in cyberspace. It didn't go to one of those odd folders. That it was actually recognized, it was open, so you can, base your time management and your follow-up around that. Google Docs, if you're creating HTML emails, but once again, you got a lot of this set up for you now in the WealthWave system. So this has less value than it used to. And then Bitly, if you're out there and you're doing something, you need a small little link. If your link's like, 30-some characters long, you can go to Bitly. It'll give you a little short link, and that's good for advertising or message purposing. So just a little review about some tools that we've used in the past and how some still have, good value for us, and some are diminishing with that WealthWave system. Marketing is going to, put the light on and keep the light on. So remember, you can have a great system and you can bring nobody in and the system is meaningless. And you can also bring a lot of people into a business with no system to plug them into. That's pretty meaningless. We've seen all types of results based on what we've been doing over the last few years, and we understand with a nice upfront lead generation system that has you talking to people, prospecting, not pitching, not selling, it works well to streamline into a pipeline that will get you guys, the results that you're looking for. If you're good at creating leads and your business is not growing as fast as you would like it to, here's the answer right here. You're not following up. Follow-up really is going to separate in this industry $50K from a $500K earner, big builder from a small builder. So if you're good at creating leads and your business is not growing, this is the reason. Prospect communication schedule, voicemails, emails, text, social media message. You're following up with people to resolve the lead. You're not following up to close partners. I did that in the beginning. It is messy and it's pointless. You waste a lot of time. You're looking for the select few who fit into that persona and the rest of the filters that we have. But you're going to find those people by making sure that you follow up with positive interactions. The WealthWave, the How Money Works, you got some, you got the book, you got sites, you got podcasts, videos, emails, classes, text, social media, national press. This gives you, remember, when we talk about that bottom of the pyramid, I need to do a few things in the marketplace pretty quickly. I need to build rapport, and I need to build trust and credibility so I can start opening conversations. A lot of this is contained right here. If if your book that you're associated with is on CNBC, on all of these things, and you've got all this press out here, it does some of that for you. So know the value of this and how to put that on your side and make sure that you're aligned with it to get what you want out of it. Remember, we talked about this over the last number of weeks, but when you're talking about what we do from the client side, a free F&A, that sounds so sales pitchy. When you talk about, hey, our financial professionals sit down with people and depending on what their situation is, can help them identify ways to improve their cash flow, eliminate debt in a fraction of the time, prepare for emergencies, take care of themselves, make sure everything's in place, accumulate assets, especially for retirement that are guaranteed, tax-free, that avoid market losses, and make sure we create and secure a legacy that's going to go to the people that we care about. So these are the kind of like the short jabs of language and verbiage that will get people interested. So out of those 6, what's most important to them, and you can control the conversation. So remember, free financial needs analysis sounds like a sales pitch. This sounds like conversational points that will continue and direct the conversation to an endpoint. Guarantees are going to be important going forward, and for a lot of people under a certain age, they're going to realize that when they look back on the past history of the United States and saw a period of time where people went to work and they had a pension and they left and Social Security supplied the rest, those are over. So what we need to do is go back and realize those were stable times for those people. How do we recreate an environment like that? Well, if in a self-directed environment, you talk to people like us and see how long your money is going to last, what that piece of the puzzle for the guaranteed pension that you set up is going to mean to you and your family. Because if you've got 4 different sources of income at retirement that add up to that X number that you're looking for your standard of living, hey, great. But if you have no idea what you want, how to get there, and what you need to do to actually get there, you're going to fall into a lot of what we see going on in this country right now is people living off very meager Social Security, having to pick between prescriptions and food, having to go back in the workforce. We're trying to avoid that. All of that can be avoided with a very simple start, financial education, how money works, leading to better decisions that lead to a better future they've actually created instead of just accepted by just being kind of like, and we talked about this past few weeks, being in the driver's seat versus the passenger seat of your own life. Julie has been here for a number of weeks in the past. She'll be coming back around again, but she always has some great training. So when you're talking to people on the client side, simple questions can get that conversation going. Are you planning to retire? Most people say, I would like to. I have no idea how that's going to happen. Well, guess what? That's an opening of a conversation that's going to get continued and directed if you know how to handle yourself. Are you worried about losing money? Do you trust Wall Street? Do you trust the stock market? We're not predicting cycles in the stock market. We see what happens. We see the violent rally off the lows in March. We're not in the process of saying the market's going up or down. We are in, the mindset of helping our clients, our potential clients, understand that you can't just constantly go through the boom and bust cycle of the stock market that in the last 20 years has had 3 bear markets, and it's not over yet. Has anybody talked to you about recession-proofing your accounts? If I could show you a way to guarantee no loss while also guaranteeing a 7% rate of return, which is one of the annuities on the crump line right now, on your income bucket, that's the money coming out the backside, between now and the time you retire, would you want to see that as part of your place? 7% guaranteed on the income bucket, guys. This is an ultra-low interest rate environment. It's a very good rate of return. Know if you're an inviter how to create interest in what we do and pass that off. And then if you're a financial professional, know when that lead that you either created or somebody else has created and passed off to you, it's your job to effectively talk to those people and try to help them if you can. If you can, goes back to what we were talking about. There's got to be closing language. There's got to be the ability to handle objections when it's suitable and it's right for the client, close them. And when you're looking at what's possible in annuities, well, you're looking at non-qualified funds, which is other stuff outside of what's qualified retirement funds. And you can see qualified over here, non-qualified. Annuities are not made to make people rich. It's not speculative. It's not going to give you thousands % return. It's designed to keep you from going broke and have something solid that you know. So when you look at the foundation of financial planning and retirement, this is part of the foundation. If you want to do Bitcoin, you want to do appreciating stocks, you want to do commodity future funds, that's all mostly at the top of the pyramid. That's a little small piece. Without a foundation, anything's going to crumble at some point. And are you happy with your current CD rate? Don't say, hey, do you have any money saved? This is a great way. Are you happy with your current CD rate? Is your money working hard enough? Is your money working as hard as you're working for your money? Most people are going to say, heck no. I'm working extremely hard for my money. It seems to do nothing for me every single month, or I'm not earning any interest. Well, if I could show you a way, remember, just going back through some of this language, verbiage, and questions, creating an arsenal of language and verbiage that you use on a continuous basis to do the things that we need to do, which is create interest And then small businesses. I know this has been an extremely rough time for a lot of small businesses, but nevertheless, in a normal environment, we're showing them, how to get up to $56,000 in tax deductions for your business while also creating a guaranteed retirement account. Would you want to see that as part of your strategy? Do you have all the tax deductions you need? Do you have all the guaranteed retirement income you need? Most people are going to say no. Remember, the tier 1 for marketing that's what we label. Tier 1 creates awareness, interest, decision, and action points. It's the foundation of your business. If you treat the tier 1 as the front door of your business, which we always encourage you to do, you'll understand and be able to visually see what you need to do to A, open the doors, and B, get clients and partners coming through. There's new ways of thinking and acting, and when you're prospecting out there, you have to understand prospecting is very easy. It's just talking to people, and recruiting is very hard. They're not the same thing. This can be an easy process if you follow us and you let it be. Selling insurance is hard. I don't want to sell insurance, guys. Marketing insurance through financial education, through how money works, it's easier for you and much easier for the potential client as well. I'm not going to go through all this. We've used this as an example in the past, but if you are trying to get as many people to view a post as possible, you want to open up with something that a majority of the crowd is going to either A, agree with, or B, disagree with. So you're trying to get that wide crowd around what you're doing, and from that point, the rest of the post will filter out the ones that maybe aren't as interested as that top overall statement. But use stuff, do you hate taxes, all of these things that you can read through here and transfer over to the financial side, you can use those, and when you get a majority of people raising their hand, yes, no, the rest of it is just trial, implementation, error, and reflection. The videos, guys, don't get in the habit of spending too much time with people on the front end. If you're going to have an hour conversation with somebody before they watch the videos, that's fine. If you guys found a connection, you're talking, but it's not your job to go through all the information for this business. You're busy. Even if you got nobody in your agency right now, think about what it's going to be like to have 1,000 or 2,000. You're busy. Make sure that you view your time as important. The videos serve as an introduction to the business. They'll be a filter, or they'll serve as the information to allow you to continue the conversation. It saves us from ourselves. That's pretty self-explanatory. Videos are going to do the same thing each and every time, down to the second, down to the word. It's a great leading indicator for business growth. If you've got enough videos going out, you should have the rest of the activity coming out, going into the results on the backside. You're looking for two types of people. You're looking for people who need help, and there's a lot of them out there. We have free services. We've got a lot of free financial education. And you're also looking on the other side for partners is someone who can actually help, the business opportunity side. Inside the industry, there's going to be a point of reckoning here in the next few years where if you're a small agency, barely, just 15 deep or less, or you're an independent agent out there, a lot of this stuff is going to start to fall by the wayside. So building alliances, diversifying your business. The industry has evolved with technology. Are you in the place to take advantage of this, get left behind? What's your digital plan? Just like Alana was going through, what's your plan of action? If there's no plan of action on the digital side, what's the consequence of going 3-4 years into the future and not having anything set up? Remember, when you're out there, engage your audience. We talk about build, engage, sell. You can't build and sell. You've got to engage in the middle because people are at different points with different needs at different times. And if you've done the engagement part, good percentage of those will recognize you as somebody they actually want to do business with and come back around. But you have your engagement, you're responding back to communications, you're sending your messages. These are so important. You're putting yourself out there, getting public conversations started, and you're finding, especially if you need growth on the audience side, get into heavily trafficked posts with comments that replies to comments or stuff that's positive. Don't argue with people. No religion, no politics, but get yourself out there. And we introduced, a number of months ago, a way that I could bring somebody in with no money to spend on advertising and get them into a position where they're having conversations organically. That's the intro message. And listen, this does not work as effectively on Facebook Messenger, and we're going to be addressing that in the next couple of weeks. But on LinkedIn, if you've got a message sequence and you stay true to that, it's going to produce stuff for you. An intro message, help, how money works. All of these are trying to drive the percentage of connections to the phone so you can have a conversation with them, not to sell them anything, not to pitch them anything, but to hear what they have to say, talk to them, and then, depending on what they say, possibly help them. We said 30% when we originally came out, and we're running right now with all the data points about 15 to as much as 28%, so it's looking pretty good. Now, on the lower end, or if you're even below that, it's due to a number of issues. Number one, you're not getting the message sequenced out continuously, or number two, there's small follow-ups. If I'm connected with Alana wants an intro call, but she doesn't respond back or access my calendar, well, a lot of people would just let that fall through, get lost in the messages. Well, you should need to follow up. If they're interested, just because they didn't respond back to that last message doesn't mean it's a dead deal. Go back and make sure these people who want the calls are scheduling the calls and watch your percentages shoot up, and then from your percentages, things start to happen. A week to 7 to 10 days out from the intro to help how money works, you're trying to get them at least 3 positive interactions, positive messages in the first 30 days of connections, and you're trying to get them to the phone within the first 30 days of being connected, or the first 3 messages right here. Positive interactions, why are they needed? Because if you're just always out there pitching, even if you come with me to a message I'm halfway interested in and I look above that and the last 3 messages you've sent me have been pitch, 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 I'm done. If the last message is, hey, congratulations on your work anniversary, how are things going, all the things that we talk about, then they feel like they want to do business with you, they know you, and they can actually speak to you because that rapport, trust, credibility has been built. And this leads to conversions. This is, this week. It's just happening over and over and over again for Alana, myself, David, the people that are using this. Thanks for the connection, that intro message. What does that lead to? She just says, hi, Mike Amos. Now, most people will leave it. I just said, have a great rest of your week, Tiffany. Please send me your calendar link for a brief introduction. There it is. I got with her. She's a valedictorian of her class. She got to college, found it was extremely boring, been, kind of job hopping around, number of years. So at the end of this, we decided that what she's doing right now, she's happy with inside the industry. So I said, great. If you get to the point where things are falling and you're not having the lead generation, you're not having the income, you feel like you don't have any digital presence, let me know. And I just backed it up with the same thing. Nice speaking with you today. I tried to go in and endorse you for a couple skills, but was unable to. I think she had it blocked for anybody to endorse her. But once again, positive interactions. If I talk to you and I'm sending you out a book, I'm scheduling any of these things, I'm going in and endorsing you because it's another positive interaction. If you find yourself falling behind without a digital plan in the industry, without a consistent lead generation pipeline that belongs to you, get back to me. In the meantime, you can check out my profile under millionairemindset.life. You can see much of what I do. How Money Works intro video, industry overview video, and company-specific tour video right here. So she wasn't interested, but it was a positive phone call at the end. I said, I'm glad you're happy, but if something comes up and you're not, get back with me. This is what I specialize in. And then she went and endorsed me. Thanks for endorsing me. My pleasure. Hey, Mike, I'd like to reconnect to speak more about this. This was this morning. I'll talk to her at 5:15 today. This is easy, guys. The cost of this lead was 0. If she comes in, cost of acquisition of a partner is 0. We're trying to show you guys ways that you can build your business. Now, when I get in front of you and your business isn't going well, what have you been doing? None of this. There's not a lot I can do to help you out. You got to follow our lead because for a long time we did stuff that did not work and we learned from that. Automation frees you up and allows you to spend time with your family, allows you to reinvest that business or reinvest that time back into your business and somewhere else. It's important. It probably saves 7 to 10 hours a week. So when you're looking at something like Helper, step 1, step 2 are about collecting, inviting people into a file. Step 2 is the intro message, recently added connection message. And then step 3 is just a recurring message center that you can do the second message, third message, 30, 60, 90 days. You can go back to that file, send another message. So it's an organization tool and a time management tool. That's it. That's all I do every day right here. If you guys are struggling with interaction engagement, remember you do have the ability to, don't make the surveys too long and don't make them too invasive. Try to make it feel like you're trying to help the other side out. Yes, you are doing that, but you're also getting information that you can respond back to with possible solutions. So how to read situations. This is ultra important. This is the last stage of when you're getting people off platforms to the phone, is to be able to read them. If you guys play poker, it's a lot like that. You're going to get certain information, They're going to give you certain information. You're going to read certain information. You're going to make a determining factor. Can I help this person? Do I want to help this person? Do they want to help themselves? And make a determining factor whether or not you want to continue this conversation, pivot it to a client, or end it. Remember, emotional decisions, emotional responses are going to come from both the client and the partner side. So yes, during this time period right now with coronavirus, a lot of people have been frozen. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to sit here and just figure it out later. Well, those negative emotions, they lead to emotional decisions, which are not usually very good decisions. On the other side, positive emotions can also fuel that type of emotional decision that can, not be something that can be of value for you going forward. So you don't want to get these people that are based on emotional decisions. You want to get them outside thinking that. That's you. That's where you come in, almost like a therapist. I understand your position, understand where you're coming from, but let me tell you a little bit about what we do and how we help people. A lot of people that I talk to make emotional decisions based on where they are in their life or what's happening around them. What we teach people to do is step outside of that and make data-driven decisions, both on the partner and the client side. And when you remove emotion in a way and you look at data, you look at roadmaps, you look at how to get where you want to go, what you want, when you remove emotion, buying decisions start to come in on the client side, interest starts to come in on the business opportunity side, and this is a flip that you have to be able to do in the marketplace, because if you're emotional, they're emotional, guess what? Nothing's going to happen of any value. So how do you see your purpose? Well, right now, for the last few months, a lot of us have been almost like therapists. So when you look at yourself, how can I make the biggest impact right now in the marketplace? Do I have the resources, the tools to create a life that I want and the desire for us, our clients? So how can I make the biggest impact? How can I go out there and have the opportunity to do so? And what's going to motivate me? Because there is big opportunity. And when you're in the business, this particular business, you have the opportunity to help other people on a grand exponential scale. Have some fun doing it and make a lot of money. Help people help themselves, but first we have to help ourselves. There's a ripple effect, and people need you. They want you. They need to be able to find you. Do you want to be found? So all of this stuff that you have, these great materials, this great mission points that we have, if you're hiding in the corner, then no one's going to know you're in business. We're looking for people who will take victory against all odds. Remember, the statistical analysis shows that odds are against somebody coming in this business. Why? Because, A, it's building a ground floor business. That in itself comes with monumental odds against you. But also just the fact that we're going through this process of building, a lot of times you may be dialed in, but you may get some upfront failures. Maybe somebody comes in and you're really excited about them and they quit. Well, that's going to weigh on you as well. So we're looking for people who can overcome things. We're looking for dedicated distribution partners on the business opportunity side. And once you have 3, 5, 7 of those in place that are really good, you start to see some multi-directional growth. Now, these people are not everywhere. They're going to be a low percentage of people, but in order to get through those people, you've got to go through the others, and you've got to go through the others with filters and persona points that help you identify when you're wasting time, how to move past that very, very, very quickly. This is my partner persona. I've showed you guys this lots of times. It's got a background. It's got identifiers. It's got goals, challenges, demographics, and interests. These are the people that I look for on a daily basis to be partners of mine. I'm looking for people that either are on the right-hand side of the cash flow quadrant and they want to extend that, or if they're on the left-hand side, employee, self-employed, I'm looking for people who are willing to roll that dice, pay the price for success. I'm looking for those people that want to be the one percenters. I mean, this is a few years old, but $500,000 adjusted. Not everybody's going to make that, and in order to make what the 1 percenters do, you've got to most of the time do what the other 99% want and realize that if 1% is what I'm looking for, then 1% of my activities, my partners, is probably going to, be what it takes. 3 people on the client side, 3 people on the partner side is metrics that we talked about that will work for you, but I've got another 3-point today. And that's working with 3 dedicated distribution partners at a time. Those people that you think can best be in a position to help you and help themselves. Now, if you start working with one of these people continuously and they start to lose momentum, they start to drift, it's not your job to resurrect, but keep that bullpen of about 3 people that you feel very confident with in your base shop that can be first-generation independent agency owners, and work with them. Invest the time into them. Because if you do, you can set off an explosion of senior vice president, EMD, CEO, recognition, promotions, and that's going to blow up organizational growth. Once you're able to advertise that, hey, I've got people continuously hitting EMD, CEO, which, we're not there yet, but we're getting closer, then it's on. Once you show success in the marketplace, the floodgates will open. We've got a system, so you want to follow the system. The system's there to protect you, protect your time, protect your energy, resources, and protect your sanity, quite frankly. Also, on the open platforms like LinkedIn, follow a system. If you're doing that, it will reward you. Also, our system really begins with a few training sales. One is the exchange. It's not too much to ask. If somebody's complaining about this, for the chance to get an agency built around them, the chance to have multi-million-dollar distribution legs around the country, maybe this is not for them, because when you look at the price that other people pay to find the ultimate success, this has been in the news a lot lately that minor leaguers, a lot of these teams aren't going to pay their minor leaguers. They make about $400 a week. The average salary of a minor leaguer, this may be a couple years old, was $12.50 a month. Chasing your dreams for $12.50 a month have the chance over here to come into a minimum salary Major League Baseball contract at $500,000 a year. $26 million was the highest. Some of these guys are getting paid $22 grand to take a plate appearance. So in order to get to the big money, in order to get to the big show, got to pay your price in the minor leagues. These guys are not getting rich. This is their investment. This is their sacrifice. This is what they're doing. Everything in life has sacrifice. Until people understand that, they don't understand what it means with what we're offering, the commitment that we have from our side. So realize that if people don't understand their sacrifice in the beginning to build something great on the backside, it's not the right partner persona. I mean, this is kind of funny, but it's not. I mean, you're asking somebody to do very little coming in compared to, look at this advertisement from a long time ago. Men wanted for hazardous journey, small wages, bitter cold, long months of complete darkness, constant danger, safe return doubtful, but honor and recognition in case of success. We're not asking for too much. It's a good time to be alive. You got a lot of tools. Great time to be an entrepreneur. People need to find things they want to do with this instead of picking off the things they don't want to do, because if that list is what they're going to concentrate on, it's the wrong partner. It's one of those wow moments where we've got a lot going on, and we are building from within the team, the company, the partner level that, we're not too far away from the viral growth curve in this model. So you want to take inspired action right now. You want to have increased commitment. You want to have resilient determination. And you want to know that if you're willing to do what Alana and I and David and some other people have done, which is go all in on this, there's no limits. You will win if you decide that you want to and you're willing to go to work. Now, is it going to happen overnight? No. Is it going to be problem-free? Definitely not. But if you have the grit, determination, and resiliency to see this through the end, you got a lot of help and you got a lot of tools, assets, and partners that are willing to put you in a position where you look good and that you are not trying to compete in this industry, but you are leading with education, leading with these campaigns, these missions that do what everybody else in the industry is not doing. And when you set yourself apart, you no longer have to compete. That's where we want to be. If any of you guys need any help with your business, please let us know. This is a strange last few months, but I guarantee you the adoption rate of what we're doing, the adoption rate of what we're trying to push into the market, like David referenced in his speech last night, is about 60 months jumped now. So we're looking at about a 20, 25-year adoption rate right now here with everything going on. Take advantage, guys. Work hard and build something that you're going to be proud of.
Mike, that was a phenomenal training. Really, really good. So I hope you all got out of it as much as I did. Let me go ahead and stop the recording, and then we'll open up the floor for any questions or anything that anybody has that they have to share.